So you just finished your comic and you shared it to the world. Now thousands and thousands of people are reading it. Hopefully. But now, what's next? Do you jump into the next comic? Or is there something else you should do before? Today's episode of Panels in Progress is all about what to do after you just finished your comic. I'm Chris, and let's get into it. First, we gotta acknowledge that you just finished a project that most people only dream about doing. And that's nothing to push off onto the next. A lot of people don't make it to a finished comic. They don't make it to that finished manga. They just keep redoing it, or they quit right in the middle. But if you've made it to this point, that's something to celebrate. That's something to congratulate yourself on, tell everyone about, especially those in the comic community, because it's a big thing. Finishing a project, no matter if it's 2 pages or 200 pages, it's a big deal. So definitely celebrate that win. Give yourself a round of applause. But I do have to admit that now that the project is done, it can feel kind of strange. Something that you've spent the last couple weeks, couple months, couple years working on, it kind of leaves a big hole in the what do I do next? How do I go on? But honestly, this is the best time to rest and reset. I know we live in a society where hustle culture and more is better, but there's a lot of artists that get burnt out. There's a lot of manga artists that don't live past 50. There's a lot of artists that just don't have the energy to keep going. And it's mostly because the society we live in. But if you are not a professional and you are able to set your own schedule, then take this time to rest. Take a break. Do nothing. And what I really mean by do nothing is find something to do that isn't making your comic. And even though no one really wants to do it, I suggest starting with cleaning your art space. If you have a specific area that is where you create art, start with that space. I have an entire room dedicated to creating art. I'm very fortunate for that. And what I need to do and have been needing to do is to put things away. I don't know if you're like me, but when I'm creating a comic or I'm working on a really long project, things kind of just accumulate. All the things that I was using for reference, the head models, the skeletons, the art reference books, the inspiration that I surround myself with, just piles up. And even though I plan and intend to put things away while I'm working on the project, I get laser focused on that project and I don't put things away. So now that I've finished my comic, that's the first step that I'm gonna do, is just putting away all the clutter, putting away the things and resetting the canvas, as you will, so I can create again. The next thing I like to do while I am in a phase of resting is I like to refeed my idea bank. Now, while I'm making comics, I continuously read comics, read manga. I try to watch a movie here or there, maybe a television show if I can. And of course, I listen to books on audio while I create. But now that I'm not creating, I can allow some more input, some more things to feed the ideas. I think this is the next important step, because how we come up with ideas is an amalgamation of the things we surround ourselves with, the things that we feed ourselves through media. So if you are inspired by comics and manga, movies, video games, if you have time for video games, maybe actually now you do have time for a video game. But all of these things can contribute to the next idea. See, what happens when you consume things that you love, that inspire you, your mind does this great thing of mixing and mashing things together that wouldn't normally be. Or you notice the patterns of these things and you can make something new out of something old. This phase of reading, watching, playing, going outside, being with friends, being with people, all of it is very important because it will reflect in your next work or your future works. I'm using ideas from movies and television shows that I enjoyed when I was 10 and 12 years old today. So everything that influences you will make its way back around. Enjoy it. You've earned it. Now, the next thing that I think is very important to this resting period is reflection. Now, this is actually something I didn't do before, but I'm going to start doing now. I watch another YouTuber, his name is John Brinkley. I'll put his link in the description. On his channel, he introduced me to the idea of looking at your old work. I'm paraphrasing, but you can do this one of two ways. You can either, while you're working on a comic, whatever things you're struggling with, you can jot those down. Like, oh man, this background really got to me. Or the way this panel really stopped my momentum. Man, this dynamic panel, I couldn't get the angle just right. It stopped my momentum. It stopped the flow of this comic. Or I really struggled with thumbnailing or the paneling. You can write that down as you write your comic and then revisit it later, and you can use that to influence what you want to focus on or study more on the next time. Or you can go back to your old work and review. What are the things that stick out to you that you're not happy about? What are the things that stick out to you that you wish you could have done differently, wish you could have, or now that it's done, you see, oh wow, I really could have done this differently. Go back through your old work, write these things down, and now you know exactly what you need to focus on for the next comic. I actually plan on doing this very soon. I'm going to make a video on how I review my old comics and what I plan to learn from them and improve upon in the future. So if you're interested in that type of video, please stay tuned because it's coming. Getting back to the point, I think this reflection of your old work is going to be very helpful because in the grander scheme of things, we all want to get better at making comics. We all want our next comic to be better than our last. And how else are we going to do that? Yes, making the next comic will hopefully be better than the last, but if we actually fine-tune the things we want to improve, then we can ensure that it's going to be better. Take some time, look at your old work, but actually don't rush to look at it. Put some distance between you and that work. And I feel the longer you've worked on that project, a week, 2 weeks might be the distance that you need because you can look at that comic with fresh eyes. Every artist has this issue where you're laser focused, and this goes from comics to illustrations to whatever you're creating, paintings, whatever you do, sculpture, it doesn't matter. Whenever we laser focus in on a project, we zoom in and that's all we can see. Sometimes all we can see is the flaws. All we can see is what's going wrong with it. But having a breather to step away from it for a day, 2 days, a week after it's finished and looking at it again, you'd be pleasantly surprised with how happy you are with the result. For instance, when I go back through my old webtoons and I review those very first webtoons that I created, yes, they're rough, but I'm very happy that I made them. I'm happy that I told the stories that I wanted to tell, and I count that as a success. Now, after you've cleaned, you've reset, you've enjoyed the artwork that is around you, and you've reflected, that kind of moves us into what's coming next. What's the next project? And we will tackle that conversation in the next episode. Please subscribe if you're interested in what's coming next for myself, as well as what to do next on the next project. I've got my comic Doppel out. Please check it out. It's a horror thriller about a woman's husband that after a routine business trip is acting completely strange and out of character. And if you would like to find out what happens and how she handles that, give it a read. It's on Global Comics. The name is Doppel. Links will be in the description below. And finally, tell me, after you finish the comic, what do you do? Do you rest? Or do you just rush into the next comic? If you guys have anything that I missed that you actually find helpful during your rest period between the comics, let me know that as well. I'm always open to suggestions and hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you next time.